Let me start by saying I've played Destiny 1 quite a bit back in the day, but it was never my main preference of game. So when Destiny 2 came out, I was already knee deep into Black Ops 3, which filled that advanced movement FPS itch I had. And throughout the years, I sort of just forgot Destiny 2 existed. I would always see these massive expansions and things they called raids, which never interests me anyways, especially since everything about me hates FOMO. So as time passed on and I sunk hundreds of hours into similar games, I just never found that interest to go back to Destiny. Well, that is until this past week. Coincidentally, I also got into Warframe, which has been a lot of fun, and I oftentimes hear it compared to Destiny 2 as being far superior or to some inferior, it just depends on who you talk to. But I thought since I'm on this journey of discovering games that I missed out on for years, I may as well try Bungie's magnum opus to see if I really was missing out on, I don't know, just more good shit, really. And since my only exposure to Destiny is scattered from a decade ago, I made the decision to look up a few Destiny 2 like beginner videos as you would do. But I also looked up more opinionated videos from channels that seem specifically geared to Destiny content. Like I found this one Lucky 10p and Say Wallah Bruh. I'll put them up on the screen. And it was actually quite fascinating to see the dichotomy of the Destiny community. This is something that I always go back to, is that like you can really tell a game by its community, and this community is like one of the most split communities I've seen in basically all of gaming. Everywhere I looked, it was either, oh my god, I love Destiny 2, or Destiny 2 is the worst garbage I've ever laid my eyes on and the devs should be ashamed of themselves, or something of that variation. And when I tell you there was no in between, I mean straight up, there was no in between. As for what I think about Destiny 2 initially, I actually thought I made a mistake to make sure for like a split second that I didn't accidentally download Destiny 1, because the game feels the same to me over a decade later after I played my first game for a couple hours. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Destiny 1 and 2 are really just the same game. For that reason, Destiny 2's real start may be at a different point that I haven't reached yet. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about Destiny 2, like, at all. No story, no expansions or DLC stuff. Pretty much nothing. Or a few bits and pieces, but I'll get into that a little later. I didn't know much about Destiny 1 2. I just really liked the feel of the game and would kill time back in the day in high school, beating hordes of enemies over and over again as they respawn. Now you might be asking yourself, why are you playing Destiny 2 and not at least going over the basics or a starter guide on YouTube or like a wiki or something all this time later, but you're making a video about if it's worth playing or your new player experience? And to that I say it's simply because I just wanted to. I don't really need a reason other than this is how I get my thoughts out and document my experience more than anything else, to be honest. I oftentimes like to see the progression I make through games I try for the first time, so I make a little initial video, mostly for my own sake, and then compare that to where it ends up in the future. If I continued playing it, or if I dropped it off for me, or if it was used for my time, or if I just got everything out of the game I wanted. Luckily, from what I can tell, people are mostly positive leaning when it comes to helping new players or maybe long time returning players, and I expected that. I mean, the negativity I came across seemed to be solely aimed at the devs, which I really want to know what the hell they messed up to make people hate them this much, but I'm not nosy enough to really look into it. The small 10 hours I put into Destiny 2 over the weekend was enjoyable, and to me, that's all I really care about. They can be screwing over players in some crazy way with each update, like taking away fan favorite things or adding in things that people didn't really ask for, or just generally handling the balance of the game and like the end game loot very poorly, or boss awards be lacking or something. I mean, you know how it goes. That's like basically 3 or 4 out of the main problems MMO games face. But you know, as long as it's fun, I really could care less. No, I'm not completely out of the loop. Like, I know certain bits and pieces just from like stuff I've heard on social media and stuff like that. Like the fact that the Final Shape was the last large scale expansion for Destiny 2, and that they would be focusing on smaller scale stuff in the future, which people did not like. I definitely saw a lot of that. I heard about Bungie's new game Marathon, which seems to be coming out either this year or in 2026 sometime. I also heard that Bungie is not doing too well with both the perception and financial state of Destiny 2 as a whole. But even with all of that, I am still deciding to dive into what I missed it for over a decade. kind of like I did with Warframe, or what I'm still doing with Warframe. And I personally hope it's good enough to just push all those distractions aside, and I can just blissfully enjoy the game for what it is right now until, I don't know, I get bored of it, or you know how it goes with MMOs. You usually play them for a long time, and then you come back to them. It's sort of like a peaks and valleys system with these type of games. So yeah, that's where my head is at, being a new player to Destiny 2 in 2025. Not sure who this video will find, but if you have a lot of experience in Destiny 2 or in Destiny as a whole and want to give advice or tips, or just share your thoughts on what's been happening in the game, let me know any of those thoughts in the comments. One of my favorite things to do as of late is just almost like peek into the minds of seasoned vets of whatever game it is and hear their opinion, because those opinions usually align more along the truth than content creators who are usually prone to like embellish things. And there's no use really getting any level-headed opinions from Reddit and things like that, so I obviously just avoid those at all costs. But yeah, just let me know what you think and leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.